Four had to play all the way through LCQ against the second best team from North America and Latin America to then make it here, lose to Shopify, go on this whole lower bracket run. But it's all in jeopardy now. You got to win Abyss. You have to force this to 5 if you want that all Brazil banger on Sunday.
And it comes after MIBR were in the driver's seat on Corrode. They went up 6-0 at the start of the game, then lost 13-1 after that. The momentum is with Shopify.
But it's such a different character of composition. We just watched back-to-back double duelist maps for MIBR. Now they go classic, keeping the Cypher, the Jet in the comp.
Melissa and Bastarda to receive this hit on A. Melissa, who played a belter of a map, and Bastarda, who got a 4K to end it, only to lose on 0.6 seconds on time. But so far they've been able to find nothing, not actually playing on the site. As the smoke clears though, maybe an angle for Bastarda yet.
I'm looking at Dodo fighting deep in this post plant, has a player to crossfire. If Shopify can buy time on site.
The rope is a little bit too bold. The first kill goes down. I don't think she had any stars left. Was willing to risk it. Now MIBR, 4 players, 5 rather, behind this orb. Now some utility to flush out the early angles. Shopify have gotten up into heaven though. Have a chance for a crossfire. Alexis in a nasty little spot, taken down though. And now, executed out from heaven. It's only Dodonut left. Needs a few shots, needs to deal with the planter up the rope. Dodonut has 3 kills, make it 4, but the spike is still defused.
Another bullet or 2 onto Melissa, and it would have been a different story.
And that is the perfect reversal of the final round on Corrode, where Melissa and Bastarda, the round was stolen away this time. They stick the defuse to win it.
So close, but they make it happen. SRN hit some great shots on this retake, got on that spike with the team and even just dancing around to buy that attention.
It's even the 4K out of a Yoru on the other side. It's poetic.
Too perfect in the way it mirrors. It's been a while since MIBR have won a pistol. You have to look back to the start of the previous map. They went up 6-0 on Corrode. Only won a single round after that. Essentially a 13-1 game if you discount the first quarter.
Wild stuff. And here start things off nicely. Shopify Rebellion gear up towards B. Interestingly, for a team that never buys on round 2 after losing pistol, Dodo gets the Sheriff because of the 4 kills from the last round.
And the plants being on attack as well.
Exactly, so it pays for itself.
5 suppressed.
That's gotta feel good. Already MIBR start to shift over. SRN sprinting through A main. Starting to close in on Shopify.
Shock darts do a lot of damage. Spam is here.
Oh, it's a full-on lineup for Sayuri. Having a little bit of fun there. Ended by Noya, but these tripwires in back-to-back rounds posing some problems for Shopify on their approach. 2-0 to MIBR.
And now I'm looking to see how MIBR want to play this once we get dug in. They're playing the old default composition, but remember there's been big changes to the game. Cypher's a lot weaker, it's now a slow instead of a stun. Takes a while for that trip to wind up. Nowhere near the pure stall power that that agent may have once had, especially when you're playing against a Yoru comp. It doesn't pose a huge threat. So instead, I think you have to oftentimes be playing that Cypher more for information, retaking with cages on the Cypher site, and seeing how you can fight up and aggressively take space elsewhere.
That's not how Bastarda wants to play. Wants to be the aggro player, has been the hero for MIBR. Now attention turns to a player like SRN. The desk was putting a lot of focus on her. Off the waylay.
Gets away with just grabbing that orb, and SRN up top should get droned off here.
Yep. No one there to break it. Mel is trying to charge in, but Sayuri is right here around the corner as that smoke falls. A little bit of chip, a repost from SRN. Warning shots on both sides.
And they don't get a kill off it, but that's the kind of aggression I like to see. Pressure one side, push them away. Try and make this hit end on your bunkered site with the Cypher and the Astra.
And this is where Bastarda is challenged, especially with Dodonut in the dimensional drift.
Round 3, by the way, thanks to that 4K.
So early. Bastarda trying to chase down Dodonut. Get away from this Yoru. Stay back inside, has called in the reinforcements. Lisa is here. Doubled up on backside clone to take first contact. And with Lisa dropping too, MIBR are routed.
The dimensional drift makes the round so easy on the execute. And now just a retake with 3 for MIBR.
Doubled up in backside, some more pockets to play in on the new Abyss. Getting in front of those fights, actually.
These last 2 players just going to get cut down by Shopify's onsite post plant. And before the changes to this map, most teams, Shopify included, when they played double smokes, would play the Astra and the Omen. Now instead here, we actually see Noya locking in this Viper, and I think that is a really interesting wrinkle. For one, it gives her a lot of opportunity to have agency on the lurk. Second, it's going to make your post plants very strong on your attack side, thanks to mauling, thanks to the orb you can cycle up in those positions. And then once we switch sides, in a change where it becomes all the more important to hard anchor on sites with how many more angles there are, the Viper is so good for that.
Absolutely. Talk about Noya and Dodo. 10 kills between the 2 of them. No one else on Shopify has one to their name. It's a 2-player show right now for the Rebels. As early control down mid allows some free walk up out of Dodo. Viper orb just thrown here for mid control.
Yeah, look how good it is. The orb to cycle a molly to make sure no one is actually playing top mid as well. And bye-bye mid for MIBR.
See SRN already responding.
Okay.
Wow. Nice shot.
Yeah, you lose mid control, just decimate Noya, all good.
Fight it anyways. That is the MIBR way, isn't it? Step on forward, take a chance. Dodo now, still hanging around top mid. Is a teleport to escape and a nice shot in and out.
Yeah, almost felt like the comms a little late on seeing that player on the jiggle.
Difficulty is 3 players on B. Shopify have no other place to finish. Bastarda locks it down with a couple of cages. 30 seconds remaining. Now the dart, the flash. Shopify on the approach, and Sarah to cut them down. Good spacing, good shots, and better teamwork out of Shopify should give them the second round.
No duelists for the execute. You just have to have the fundamentals perfect. And Shopify certainly have that in spades. With this team having to make changes, picking up a new duelist in Dodo Nut, I think a lot of the focus for me has come to those players that maybe got overshadowed by just how ridiculous Floor was at the last GCC. And in particular, that is Sarah and Noya, who have been the best players for Shopify in this event, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think you have to look no further than the utility of Sarah and no further than the clutch factor out of Noya.
Yeah, she won so many clutches. Sarah as well. I think she's had to fill into a lot of the second entry role playing Initiator this event. And she's so good at it. Look at that round, right? Where Dodo's not really in the picture. She has to run through a cage, look to the right, flip back, and immediately gets that entry for her team.
And it's because Dodo is playing so much of the waylay, right, that you're tasking your second entries to do so much when Dodo's always running away.
And it's basically the same when it's a Yoru as well.
Exactly. Jumping in, teleporting back at times, or just calmly working forward together with the spacing.
Those 2 players have certainly stepped up alongside the rest of this team.
Now this round gets a little bit awkward for MIBR as the operator was saved on SRN, but the rest of the team has absolutely nothing to spend on.
And SRN definitely wants to keep this gun into the round after this as well. She's had to buy down to 650 credits.
Yeah, so it's this balancing act of still play the round out, look for the shot, but at a certain point you got to call it quits if MIBR don't have the advantage.
Seeing the KO on A, I wonder if Shopify read in and just expect the jet behind that, or if they walk into it.
They're hanging out. The worst thing Shopify could do would be to calmly step forward. They're waiting for a reswing. They know that MIBR want to get forward lines usually on SRN to have info to play the rest of the map, so using this attack smoke actually to push SRN back. There could be any amount of players inside it ready to pop out.
Yeah, Mel embedded in the off angle. The rest of her team is going back to B. There'll be a fake clone here as well to try and exec with.
Exactly.
And pull rotates off B.
It's a very clear read from Mel. I think she has to know the op is here. After the early KO utility, after no contact, now she hears it for sure.
And knows that she's right in her reach. She'll stick around towards A.
But what that very likely means is a stack on the other side of the map. So now Shopify with 25 seconds left and a null command out of Sayuri. Our backs against the wall. It has to be a Hunter's Fury for a kill from Sarah, and it has to be the rest of Shopify to follow on through. They do not have lots of time. There are players on this site from MIBR trying to hunt down the planter, but the plant is stuck on through, and now the kills follow on in. What could have been hairy for a moment is now secured by another kill out of Alexis, and the slow walk on the flank by Mel.
They've baited SRN into the open, and now they've taken away the operator.
That is a gorgeous round that, again, was not simple on the exec.
No, it's so hard to piece together a round like that. Are they stacked behind the op? Are they full stacked on the other side? What does the setup look like on such a weird buy? But Mel figures it out. Sarah just outside the corner of that null command to get the Hunter's Fury burst off.
It's huge, and it kills Bastarda. So
Yes.
without the Cypher, 20 seconds is far less of a concern when there's no trips on the ground.
Util, and then only Sayori is there to punish the planter, who doesn't even really have an angle with the changes to the map.
And so Dodonut chooses to pick up SRN's up. SRN, who is sprinting exactly into her position. Two players here. Gets that first shot, falls on back. Now for a flash and the reswing. How confident is Dodo right now? And justly so.
They gave that to her for free. Now Lisa in mid tries to make a play, but Noya's ready for it.
And in true MIBR fashion, lose a player, lose two. Take some liberties elsewhere. Bastarda tries to walk into the exact same space. That kill just went down, and Melissa's rewarded for it on the other side.
But A is open. There'll be a post plant here with Dodo already full taking heaven with the operator.
Bastarda on a full walk down mid. The question to be asked now is, do you play the round? Do you play contain? Do you play full save? Seems to be a little bit of everything, and Mel is in outer space. There's an astronaut on your screen. Shoot her or something.
Okay.
Bastarda understands the instructions. She'll get it done.
Okay, that's a silly interaction in mid.
In her defense, it's possible. There was a left-hand gun model, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what happened, because she was trying to clear the angle around that pillar.
Shopify always doing this when their opponents are saving, hanging out, getting to know each
How
other.
else are you going to talk to each other if you're not looking at each other?
That's true. It's proximity
eye contact
voice, isn't it?
is very important.
Oh, eye contact. See, I was going proximity chat, but eye contact too.
Yeah.
They could look at each other on stage. They don't have to do it in game.
No, it's okay. They can do it.
But look at these shots
this
again.
This was so good from Dodo.
And the confidence to swing for another.
Yeah, and perfectly place her crosshair. And then this is, I mean, you talked about it in the round, the MIBR special. You're down a player, swing everything, try and find your way back in. Noya is very thorough. And if I'm MIBR in this timeout, I think one of the big things I'm talking about is mid control, because they've lost it pretty much every round. Two double smokes at the start, a Viper Molly top mid, and then Noya just waltzes in and contains that space for the entire round. I think they need to look at ideas to flush her out and make this mid-rounding a bit more difficult for Mel to call.
Sure. MIBR would have seen those walks in the last round. Seen a few different looks out of Shopify, but it has often resulted in the B finish.
The one wrinkle now is because Dodo has the attack op, you have to be a lot more cautious in any like active reclear or active push you're calling, because a lot of the times, I mean, you look at that last round where they try and fight through A main, if the op is just holding, you're in a losing position.
Well, the guys on your screen are trying to figure out their plans. MIBR are also trying to come up with some solutions. And the money is not exactly ideal. Only two Vandals in play here.
Yeah, Shopify have been conditioning this Viper Wall B in a lot of rounds. I'm interested to see if they'll show us one where they walk up behind it, because generally it's been these mid lurks to start.
It's just so hard to play into mid from MIBR because of the double orb setup.
Yeah, their comp really relies on SRN dominating the extremities on this jet.
The camera in mid is nice for some control, double trips on B to stop anyone stepping up, but it really is hinging on an A stack out of MIBR, and this high-low with the two rifles could be very effective.
Shopify navigated around like this previous. Knife won't catch onto the drone. Sarah takes a more passive line.
It's good, though, that Sarah knows that exact range she can play behind it. No issues there. But I think Mel has figured it out.
Yeah, here's that KO. Now you're going to hear the dart as well. Mel turns, and I think that'll just confirm her idea to want to mark her way back towards B.
Yeah, Mel spends a lot of time trying to download enemy positions in rounds, and it puts them in difficult positions again. 35 seconds left. Mel is calling the spike back. Remember, a few rounds ago, this play ended in the B finish. Now Mel is calling circles around MIBR, and it comes down to the wire again. If she guessed wrong, it's 2 players walking into 5 on the A site with 20 seconds left. Round is over. Instead,
Dodo look down.
She just solo gets it. Okay.
That's that up back, so something to hold on to, I suppose. But with 2 guns here, you want to at least make a go of this up numbers.
Mel's position with the Viper Pit backside is so good. She's stepping into that fight, as a matter of fact. Trying to get a few kills for herself. Pressure coming in on her left shoulder with that Cypher. She'll secure another. And now Shopify positioned to fire at both angles on MIBR on this drop out of heaven. Alexis Saranoia line them all up.
Out called again. And I keep thinking about what a problem this mid control is. Because Shopify are bullying early round with a smoke and a Viper orb there. And then MIBR never have that space, so they're basically like gambling 4-1 on a site every time. It's such limited info. While Shopify get all of mid to rotate through, all the time they want for Mel to pick the perfect site to execute on.
All right, make we go, squad.
What can they do about it? What can they change? Because this map is starting to slip out of their hands.
Shopify, so streaky in the last map, continuing it here, but the adjustment from MIBR coming out of the timeout, setting up Cypher on B, where 2 ultimates thrown at this site. Dodo Nut scouting things up onto the rope, popping up, falling down. Dodo getting a little bit too wild on the wrong side of the wall. Oh, Sarah dropping 2, and a Hunter's Fury tracing the outlines of Shopify. We realize the spike's on the wrong side of the wall. Not sure what went wrong there, but Shopify have no chance in this round.
Yeah, Dodo had such a big job to take space up towards heaven, as well as to try and fight back site, and gets caught dropping down. And unlike previous rounds where there's always something to cancel back into for Shopify, here, just get completely stalled out.
I think what happened was when Dodo died, Sarah, who had the spike, tried to swing through and help her out.
Read for that trade a little.
And then the spike's just on the wrong side. Simple as that.
Obscuring vision.
Shopify is still going to try for something. They have the money to do it. And damage would honestly be big.
I mean, the bait and switch setup here. So hard to break. I like how MIBR have controlled this round so far. How many can Alexis find? Absolutely nothing. So now that momentum stalled out for a moment as the 5-round streak is brought to a finish.
The change MIBR made that round, besides switching the Cypher over to A, was posting their operator in mid, and early round, walking her through.
Sarah was pushed away by the Hunter's Fury. That's
Sure.
why she swings.
But I like that adaptation. I think that having SRN on that kind of forward angle in mid allows you to call these rotates onto sites a lot earlier in rounds. And it means the risk of that lurk doesn't ever come to fruition. You see they're setting up for that again. Actually, full leaving the B site, just going to send the KO back there after getting mid control. Or maybe not even.
Yeah, it's been very late B finishes from Shopify, so it's a hard read out of MIBR.
SRN is going all the way down. There'll be a full wrap on A. Shopify will have the lockdown to break out.
Nestarda has plenty of teammates here, and now SRN catching the orb lineup. Shopify Rebellion have nowhere to go. Dodo Nut tries to clear a path, but with SRN biting at the heels, Sarah has to shut this down. Sarah delivers, as she does, time after time.
And they're pivoting. Shopify, they open the door. They know that that flank came through mid. So they'll waltz their way back through to B. And now they have such a good scenario to set up a post flank. Mel still has stars. Double mollies for Alexis.
Oh, and Alexis doesn't care about your mollies. Alexis all the way behind enemy lines. Nicely done.
Wow.
That smug look too.
It looked like MIBR had the checkmate there. They hard read the A hit with the lockdown. They pushed down mid off the start. The read's perfect. The initial execution so good as well. But look at these kills. Dodo breaks out one. The lockdown is held by Sarah. And then they just run back through mid untested.
And when that swing from Sarah comes in, it's the same time SRN, who had wasted a couple knives, is pulling out the operator so she can't even fire back.
Yeah, had to break the turret and the alarm bot for SRN. And now an attack-sided op. Reading mid-aggression, Dodo wants to counter it.
Yeah, Melissa, back away. Was thinking about running down into mid.
And I love this. Shopify have left mid-control a couple rounds in a row. Now they'll test it in a brand new way.
That Viper orb is a little bit more to the right than normal.
I think it might be intentional to give an off angle.
Yeah, there's a slight gap to work with. Dodo doesn't even care about it. Tries to clip a shoulder, but Noya's still here as this refight comes in. Noya, hold on! What is happening? Mid just exploding in the blink of an eye, and Alexis, in meantime, has crept all the way into B.
I don't think they expect her this far forward. She is so deep.
That she is. Last round in spawn. This round, back sight. Here's the clear. Alexis for another. And the alarm, too, is a little bit extra. Lisa finds herself in a 2-on-3.
But Dodo's holding the cross. This is a perfect angle for the operator.
Well divided.
The wall first. So 2 players forced behind it. 1 flash for Dodo. Ready to swing through with the up. Mel! Precise. And Dodo, too.
Another great round from Shopify. After ignoring mid-control, they work the op up with a fake mist orb to get her on the angle. She doesn't hit the shot, sure, but Noi is there to follow, and you always expect this from MIBR. They see something, they feel like they're lacking information, they'll always challenge back into you. Shopify punished that, and while they're baiting out the aggression, Alexis alone takes B.
Nice, guys. Let's go. Good shit, bro.
Sure, it's an attack-sided map. Sure, you expect them to be up. But the momentum Shopify has right now is dangerous.
Full B stack. 4 players. Waiting for Dodo on this eco. Nice shot. In and out, but Mel a little bit over-eager. Sarah for 2 more. This stack absolutely thwarted. After the last 2 anti-ecos, calling slow rounds, calling all around the map, finishing late into B. Mel again mixes it up with a new formula to win again.
After the first quarter of Abyss, or rather Corrode, we have seen 4 rounds won for MIBR in the last almost 30.
And that is to 21 on Shopify.
Nice, let's go. Good comms card.
They are rolling.
Let's fly.
This is the expectation of Shopify whenever they step into a server. That level of dominance. MIBR felt it last year in the final now. Nearly being denied the chance to make it to that same stage again.
You are divided.
A null command. Cosmic Divide, SRN in front. Alexis has already gotten 1 kill. And SRN yet to see the angle. Nice flick! And another! SRN shows up to play once a little bit more. MIBR just waiting to strike, waiting to pounce behind this wall. There's still time to work with as it's brought down. Mel down again. SRN lethal in this round.
Time to jump.
MIBR might be down 5 rounds. They've still got fight left in them. And SRN certainly does too.
SRN was truant in the upper quarterfinal against Shopify Rebellion. Had her worst game ever. Had a slower start to this series playing the Waylay. But when her team needs it, steps up, delivers a 4th round. The question, is it enough for MIBR? Can they push this series 2-5? We find out after this.
Boa, nice shit.
won't stop a war. Telling me what they are. Oh, baby, what they are. But please support. And make the what the for. And move your lips alone. Baby, get me wrong. Girl, I gon' lead this game. Share me when nothing. Ain't gonna release me from pain. Yeah, yes, Lord, I'm gonna lead it same. Yeah, this is a moment.
In the regional final against Team Liquid Brazil, this was the map MIBR lost in what was one of the longest overtime games ever, 23-21. That team is now in the finals of Game Changers Championship, and for the first time ever, MIBR is here as a second seed. They were one round away from beating them. They know they can do it. They know they're competitive with that squad that's already beaten Shopify, already made it into the finals. But now MIBR, to even have a chance to show they're at that level, have to not only come back here on Abyss, but push this series to map 5 and beat the back-to-back world champs.
It has to be the revenge tour from MIBR to take down Shopify after last year's final to have the chance versus MIBR. But first they have to take down Dodonut, highlighted in the Coinbase Econ report, 16-7 in that opening half, has led Shopify to an 8-4 lead. And yet MIBR were in a position down in a critical map before. Versus G2, they were down 10-2 at a half, only to clutch up, come back, and win it. It must start here in the opener.
That half looked grim. But MIBR, they already won one pistol in the first. SRN showed some life in round 12. What do you have in the tank?
Shopify have not dominated the pistol rounds at this event. That is a weakness for them, and it can be the start of a snowball for MIBR. SRN got the 4-piece to close. Operator in hand in the first half. Now on lower weaponry. Will be tasked with so much. One of the rare times you see MIBR playing a solo duelist comp is here on Abyss.
And starting with a slow round, a lot of pressure applied towards B, now walking back towards the A side of the map.
Jump peek from Mel. Sarah already out of heaven. Some shots fired over at B, but SRG are already calling the rotate over. Halted for a moment.
They're so worried about mid, they fully gapped that area. Now they'll look to re-clear it as this hit comes in.
So the ask is, Shopify play a little bit more passive. If MIBR overfight, you can go for a kill. And if this dart connects, Sarah has a moment, held by MIBR.
I really look to SRN this round. What can she do in the post?
This fight back into spawn, SRN holding it down, and the rest of MIBR is cut away at by Alexis. Sarah too from up in heaven. Sayuri and Melissa Sayuri for 3 takes the pistol.
That came out of nowhere from MIBR's leader. All 3 players flooding through spawn. Line up all but perfectly.
I couldn't even believe it. I think that was a classic too. She's just collat headshotting them.
Yeah, let's watch. Turns the flash so fast. I don't think she even realized she got the second. And
Unreal.
That's what they needed. That's MIBR back in this game.
Sayuri instantly slingshots to the top of the leaderboard. Look at this buy from MIBR too. 3 guns. They know they need to start snowballing rounds together. So setting up for a buy later. Bastarda blocked off. This is risky.
But she's just a canary in the coal mine.
Sure, but there's now a lot of pressure coming back through mid. That ping onto Sarah simplifies a lot.
They get a post flank. They have 3 rifles. This is a winning position.
A boost up into heaven. SRN in a beautiful position. There is no pressure coming in through heaven from Shopify. And as a result, SRN can hold confidently here. Where are those shots going? The classic from long range. Melissa and Sayuri again being asked a lot. Melissa's playing off-site. And now they're trying to retreat a little bit, take a shot before falling back even further. They have some util, but not enough. They're gonna need to get these fights. The initial pull off the spike. Those shots again are whiffing. Melissa though, steady hands for MIBR. She'll take 4.
Way too close. SRN, that was a brutal whiff top sight.
And it's tough to highlight as well because SRN is always the top fragger. She's always the best player in the server when she is playing. Today, not finding that typical form.
But her teammates are stepping up, and Maybe that's the difference from other games. Melissa with 4 here, Lisa helping her out. Sayuri in the pistol round as well.
The contrast is ironic because usually Dodonut is a duelist that'll take a little bit more of a backseat for the supporting staff of Shopify. Instead, she's lighting up the kill feed. Top of the scoreboard currently.
This round, MIBR will look to take some mid control. Playing solo controller, it's a lot harder to dominate this space.
Certainly is, but they do have the cages to block off
Here.
that A-Link. Now, because MIBR only survived with 2 players, they don't have the big buy in this round they were hoping for.
Dodo, how long left on that TP? Does this come in at the right time on the A main reclear?
She might have thrown a second one, doesn't have any remaining. So it could be lasting for quite some time. She will teleport out, had a few more seconds left on that one. But it comes with MIBR making a whole lot of noise. And some pressure from Bastarda in mid.
It's a good knife, but the Viper is playing opposite her orb, so it doesn't go down.
3 players from Shopify in backside. Mel already advancing forward. SRN whips around on her. Right out of that one, Dodo flashes on through. Chaos on this side as Dodo falls. Sarah unable to assist. MIBR in a good position in this post plant, fighting on board as this smoke clears away. SRN again for 3. That is the player we know.
Spike planted.
Delivering a bonus round. The round that was so needed to make any chance of a comeback relevant. This is a very attack-sided map. This is a very snowballing map. And SRN with a 4K has just delivered her team a chance to start rolling down that hill.
And the vibe in the MIBR camp is completely different when they are winning and when SRN is performing. SRN is a player out of her seat all the time, yelling, screaming, rowdy. And when you have that level of energy behind you, it doesn't matter if your back's against the wall. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the stage. MIBR can feed off of that fire and come back from any deficit.
They proved it already this tournament. When you come back from down 10-2 against a team like G2, it just makes you believe you can win any game.
You are simply immune to fear and immune to doubt.
They're proving that again.
So, Shopify take a chance to call a timeout after only 3 rounds. One of the earliest timeouts I have seen in this tournament.
Yeah, that makes me think that Effie's has a specific call that he wants to see. Or maybe just something egregious that he saw in a previous round. For Shopify, I mean, we haven't seen a ton from this defense.
What I'm thinking is, well, last round Shopify were very disconnected. They're playing more passive on the A site. Dodonut flashes through and tries to find this timing.
Yeah.
Those players on both sides of backside A were completely on their own, and that is very untypical for Shopify.
Certainly is. MIBR. On the Santico, though, they've shown us some of these slower rounds, and now I think it's time for them to just return to their roots. 4-1, set up heavy towards A main.
I think a quiet factor in this half will be how Bastarda works in mid. Usually she's way more explosive on the Yoru, but can try to play lurks in this.
Yeah, I do like seeing Shopify work for mid control here. I think that pushing players down here, denying that space, will be big for them as this half continues.
There's a camera on the other side of that bookshelf, but MIBR not clicking into that one, just playing 5 together. Mel on the other side of the smoke is dealt with. Right as that dart connects on backside. And barring some magic with this Sheriff, barring any gaps in MIBR's hold, Shopify kept at bay.
And this would be the game tied. As Shopify 4 group towards spawn, but look at this crossfire. Sayori was excellent in this position on the pistol, and she's ready to deliver again alongside SRN.
Very nicely handled. 3 kills for Sayori again, playing a slightly different angle, but dominating this forward fights.
That gets her the null command. Shopify, do they have money for an op on Dodo this round? They do. That makes your defense on Abyss so much easier. And especially, again, against a team that doesn't have double controller.
Yeah.
In mid, posting Dodo is fantastic. You can lock that down against the Cypher Lurks. On either extremity, getting her posted lets you stack behind it.
The struggle for an op in a round like this is that MIBR, with the early kills on their initiators, have a null command and that Hunter's Fury. So Be very hard for her to teleport away.
But the Viper plays opposite the setup on A. So that orb, it does not care about the null command.
Shopify playing pretty much retake A.
Yeah, super passive setup. They're fully giving this one up.
Again, it will always be Sarah's job to look for a dart timing, look for spam, look for shocks onto the planter. Usually she's been good for some damage, but MIBR have just calmly walked through. They haven't even used their ults. They're reading this passive look from Shopify, so they'll have those ults in the post plant.
What a read. Immediately the Hunter's Fury coming through from Melissa.
Trying to catch Sarah, knows exactly where the enemy Sova wants to play, but no dice so far.
It doesn't catch. So this retake has to come after the null command, and it'll be a straight up 5-on-5.
MIBR thought it would be a fast flood, but Shopify calmly rotate back over. 10 seconds lost, sure. Now ready for the fight. The forward hold once more from Sayuri. Clone broken. Still keeping Shopify contained. The utility just to stall Noya. Lightning quick around the corner. The fire back as MIBR dip away from the site. 4 players back into main. Not heaping amounts of utility, but there's trips on this point. There's no time.
They won it with the knife. No, nothing to be done there. The pull on the spike. Shopify run out of time, run out of chances.
Where did the clock even go? It was so much eaten up at the start because of the null command.
And it's all because of this read from MIBR. Full contacting into the A site, using nothing to take that space.
Hey, pay attention. You're supposed to be cheering them on. What's going on? MIBR have come back to win 6 rounds in a row. Okay.
Her roll bot?
I'm not so compelled with the momentum that MIBR have gotten here.
9-8 now. That is a huge round, but Shopify still have guns.
Talk so much about Mel's calling. Got to see Sayuri call a brilliant round herself too, but this time Mel, the IGL playing the forward line in A main.
Dodo's up in mid. Trying to keep Bastarda from getting too aggro here.
Shopify need kills on this anchor on site. They can't afford to keep playing retake or they're getting stalled out for an eternity. They can't afford to fall down easily. That being said, MIBR decide not to exec into the
and one
sent to util.
Sure, one key to not have to play that retake is that they do have mid control now. The Bastarda cannot get a lurk going because of this operator, which means on either site there will be quick rotates to flood in off of Mel's early info on A or off the Senti util on B.
I'm not sure how quickly that info on A is going to come because Mel has started walking on backwards. Might have heard that drone from a far distance. It'll again be a full retake over A. It doesn't matter how quick those rotates come in, they're not going to be here to receive the hit. So what we're going to look at here is how far forward MIBR play. They use so much utility, and I was also going to lurk at that mid lurk.
Yeah, that's big. Bastarda is dead. Now the Hunter's Fury gets to come in. Now Shopify set up with a kill on Melissa.
Okay, Sarah is a monster. With 10 seconds left this fight in, a plant for backside Sayuri. No shot. She locks this angle down again. Turns her attention back to heaven. MIBR, mobile, with a teleport into main. That is crazy. Sees the flash being thrown on out, but there's no bullets left. SRN. The plant is back sight. SRN can't play the round. Went on too long of a march. It is 9-9 tied again.
That was the dream of Dodo playing mid for so many of these rounds. You set up with the op and pick Bastarda. And once she's dead, that is free range for hunting season. Sarah with a perfect Hunter's Fury. Gets pick onto 2. And at that point, the retake is trivial, 5-on-3.
Becomes too easy. So things all tied. MIBR still have a bye. Both teams feeling very kitted.
But MIBR say, hey, we've had A for free the last 2 rounds. Let's try it again.
Currently, Sarah playing up with an early shock dart. Gets some damage onto the other Sova. Are they just going to pop immediately? Do we hit a freeze? What's the idea here?
Take flight.
Drone up and over. Oh, drone spots Mel in the corner. That is bad. There wasn't a break, and Mel somehow escapes back behind the wall. And now dropping out of heaven, Sarah, and lines up for Mel! Unbelievable! The push and pull from those two players. Now Bastarda cut out of the sky. What a round.
Mel gave them the last 2 rounds. This time, she does not let them take it.
How quick is that thinking? Realizing there's a pocket, calling the drop out from Sarah to then swing back in herself.
It's so sick from Mel. And just that lineup, the mechanics to make it happen.
Even 129 damage onto the Cypher could have been a 4K.
Nasty. And we were building this narrative, 5 rounds, 1 in a row. MIBR working back into this game. Bye-bye momentum.
And now to halt that momentum even more, SRN has gone for the attack op. Something they'll do even in OTs when there's no armor available. Will rest so much on finding value with early picks.
Soto had been fighting for mid control. SRN thought she could get that pick, win the op duel. Soto's gone back to the rifle. Mid's been given up, and SRN won't get anything with the op.
This is a fight with an Astra and a KO, trying to see if that attention with those players could pull a rotate through mid, I guess, to see if that op could find a pick. The whole time, the spike is still hanging out in spawn.
Yeah, this is a very slow round for MIBR. They have to play slow when they have this operator.
But now you're in a situation where you either finish into the Viper KJ, don't love that, or you finish into A where there's 3 players playing very forward. Bastarda has found a moment. Is the door broken? It is. Looks like Sarah holding heaven. Nice shot out of Mel. Taking her out of the round. Bastarda still holding it down, dodges the flash, but falls too. And now Shopify Rebellion can turn their attention back onto the site. Smoked away for now. As SRN tries to stick this plant, it goes down.
So the backside fight. No Sayori there. This time it's just SRN stuck into the corner. What a weird pit.
Is going
I don't
on?
think it was meant to do that.
Maybe trying to flood it out from heaven. Now it just blocks off the rope entirely, and Melissa is on the flank. The fight forward is just from SRN. She will fall. And now as the pit comes down, Melissa is there to strike a fatal blow to Noya. 3-on-3 in numbers. An early pull. Now baiting up the rope. Dodonut is taken out. Sayuri trying to swing with this operator. It's a full defuse. It's a full defuse. Melissa pulls some attention off the spike, and Sarah will take 4 and another round.
How sick has Sarah been on these retakes? Whether it's the ult, whether it's diving out for Mel, or this round a straight up 4K to win it. Shopify have won 3 in a row. All 3 have come on A retakes, and all 3 have been successful. And it was such a gift to start Bastarda, finding that timing, getting the lurk onto Mel. But of course it's Sarah who flushes her back out, who then becomes the hero in this retake.
Nice!
Insane work from Sarah.
Yeah, MIBR have to call a timeout now.
The mid-half turnarounds from Shopify Rebellion are a thing to be studied.
Yes.
We saw it on Corrode. Now we're seeing it again, trailing 5 rounds in a row in the second half to win 3 more themselves. Now just 2 more rounds is the difference between them being here and in the final tomorrow.
Remember what's at stake for MIBR. A team that their only time attending a GCC was immediate success. A grand final against Shopify Rebellion. This year, a change. Shelly gets taken from them by Team Liquid. They make the tough choice to drop Jubes and pick up Lisa. And they come back in a second seed, having to play all the way through an LCQ to make it here, to get their rematch. They'd hate for it to end like this, in disappointment at the hands of the back-to-back champs.
Yeah, revenge against Shopify is old history. Revenge against Team Liquid and that opportunity is far more recent. They've got to find a way to get to tomorrow. But first they have to get through today. They have to get through a Dodonut who has been obscene on this operator. Pushed away, tagged up. But still 2 players to support.
They're playing in the smoke. They're fighting up.
Oh, they're going to swing on through with this start. Look at this play. Lisa holding it down. And SRN too. This A-main trap completely dismembered.
Lisa may have just saved this game for MIBR.
SRN is going heaven. Playing into the smoke. If SRN falls, there's a chance, and she's called away.
Won't take the risk. With the lockdown in play, But unlikely to be. Oh, Sarah.
No
I mean, you're
way.
committing it
In
here.
a 2-on-4. But look what it does to those players in main, trying to push them out into the open, into a pocket. That's how confident these two players are.
Lisa's on a reflank. They still have a pull. Shopify have got to go, go, go.
They need the fights on these players stuck out in the open right now. Alexis can't miss. Noya can't miss. They won't even fire a bullet. A huge investment and a round taken by MIBR.
If MIBR come back, if this game goes to 5 maps, that might be the round Shopify remember. The fight in main doesn't go their way. They take a risk in investing the ultimate.
And more than anything, they might have thought there were players underneath heaven,
Yes.
right? Playing on site that would then be trying to escape and run away. They thought they could have some kills, but MIBR's choice to fall back to main is what wins them the round.
And even that could have been risky. There was a Viper Orb still in main for Noya.
Oh, Mimi, this game might be getting good. It's 10-11. Now Shopify forced onto an eco of their own. They could buy 2 hero rifles, technically.
Oh, a big decision point for Shopify.
Yeah, the thing is, they have so much money, they could buy 2 hero rifles and be fine, but probably not enough to buy those hero rifles and still save for an operator
Yes.
for Dodo, which is crucial.
That is the crux of it all. It's rare you see Shopify on the back foot. They lost their first ever series at Game Changers Championship.
Yeah, you can't go any higher than 3-2. There's no 3-3 option for MIBR if they lose this map.
But now kind of on the ropes again. They choose to save the money for the op next round.
Yeah, well, it's Sarah spending the money this round to drop that rifle to Dodo. That's how much trust Shopify are putting in their newest member.
They want to show another A main fight, this time with a different look, a forward flash, but no one home.
That flash hurt and those shots too. MIBR have a few choices. You could accelerate mid, you could come back into A and try to reclear. The knife didn't catch players, so now a stun. Dodo still with the option to flick away on the TP, and she'll take that pathway out.
She's still here though, but is MIBR execing? No. They're happy to eschew these players out of main, and now they can slow the round down, put some pressure on mid, bait out that drone before they make their final decision.
Astarta has not been quiet in mid in many of these rounds, always putting the pressure in.
But Noya knows she's rarely following up, so Noya posts forward, and there'll be 3 players on the A side of the map.
MIBR call around it though. 5 raid hit into this A site. SRN on high. The mission is simple. Kill Dodonut. If you can do that, the round is theirs. And Dodonut falls. 1 kill is all she'll have. Sarah is another problem. There's a new mission, people. And now, ahead in numbers.
She gets out as well.
She scampers out of the site. Sayuri is back in her place. And that place is fighting deep towards SRG spawn. A Hunter's Fury invested another eco round, another losing round that Shopify tried to win with a key ult. It takes Sayuri low. Sayuri has to make this work. She has to get it done. The shots are not found anywhere. Sarah has done it again.
I think this is the 3rd round that Sarah has single-handedly won for Shopify. And now you talk about rounds that should have been won. You talk about rounds that will haunt you. And that's the one for MIBR.
You can talk about rounds that should have been won. You can talk about maps that should have been won. MIBR could have had Pearl. MIBR could have been even now on Abyss.
But it's always these late half comebacks. It's always Shopify getting the read just in the nick of time. And now do or die. You either win 2 rounds or you go home in bitter disappointment.
MIBR have to put themselves in another overtime situation. That's been Brazil's bread and butter this event in OT and crunch time.
Here.
But 2 more rounds necessary before.
MIBR has been ending A almost every round. They have loved this side of the map.
But what is this setup with their duelist and their KO on B side, the drone and the spike working up A?
It almost feels like a double fake. Send the drone, pressure A like you're doing your same A default.
The thing is, if they're going to try and fake a B hit, they need to send SRN to her death. See what she can accomplish with virtually no assistance. That Hunter's Fury from Melissa is kind of just going haywire.
I still don't understand this round.
What's the vision? The spike is still A main. And there's no mid control either. Lisa's gone back to look at
So
that.
it is a double fake. They pump it towards A. Now they pump into B.
The knife catches both players. SRN, it is time to go. Pull the attention back. Fight the site or something. No, instead.
She's done her job. A is open. That's what MIBR wanted.
But not having that pressure keeps her so far away from the rest of the team. The casual walk up is going to let Best Start into heaven. And now Sarah keeps her down. So no forward control from MIBR. Their duelist needs to get back to them.
This game has been decided on A retake after A retake. This game has been decided by this position backside.
Sarah with spam takes the first kill. Mel has the Cosmic Divide, so MIBR have to play forward for their entire year. They have to win this. Down 4v5, make it 3v5. Sayuri, what can you find? Best Starter now in SRN, the two duelists in a 2-on-2. Hopping up and over, SRN keeps their hopes alive.
Here.
It's all about that spot. Back sight. And it's about these razor thin margins that this time are won by MIBR.
The misery of MIBR, though, is that the job is not over yet. Had they not stumbled in the previous round, this map is looking over.
And credit to Sayori.
Nice.
Against the IGL, synonymous with this scene, calls an excellent round. She needs one more.
That pressure still mounting. In the last round, Shopify don't have a buy. They have an op and 2 rifles. Mel on a Stinger, Sarah on a Sheriff. These are the A players. This is exactly where MIBR need to be. SRN already primed the dash, but not choosing to move into the site. Is this a reverse fake like the last round? Because Melissa is playing over B with a drone ready.
She'll send it again. But Sarah, seeing Lisa here and no one else, what do Shopify think? They hold their nerve for now. Keep the Killjoy bunkered, have so many players towards the A side of the map.
Last time on the Eco, Dodonut had the gun, but it was Sarah who was fatal. Similar fashion here, and Dodonut has already rotated over. This operator could do it for overtime. The A site. Shopify Rebellion already to take the first kill. Bullets answer back inside the smoke is Sarah again. 3-on-3, it's a mess. Dodo is ratting around the other side. Where are these shots found? Dodo has pushed Lisa into an impossible position. MIBR's year could be over with one more shot. Shopify have done it. They defeat Brazil's #2 to have a shot at their #1 and revenge in the final.